life searching for a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine, helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here, and it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. Feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong, and there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Let us take some time together in quiet reflection. So sit comfortably in your chairs. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, and breathe. And as we breathe, you can let my words speak to your heart. During this season of giving thanks, we recognize the power of our spiritual gifts. As I let my love flow through my body, I awaken a foundation of joy deep inside my heart. I am an outlet of a generous spirit, and I allow it to well up inside and to overflow. As I focus my attention on this internal abundance, I notice it moving, first as a trickle and then as a stream, until it builds to a rushing cascade of powerful and beneficial energy. My generosity eagerly moves out into the world for the benefit of my fellow inhabitants. As I share this outpouring of energy, I bless others and also bless myself. I know that there are ample opportunities to express kindness, love, and generosity, and I embrace each one as a sacred encounter with Spirit. And I am blessed. And so it is.
It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels
When I die, give what's left of me to children and old men. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking beside you. When you need me, put your arms around someone and give them what you need to give to me. Look for me and the people I've known and loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, by letting go of children who need to be free. Love doesn't die. So, when all that's left of me is love, give me away. I'll see you at home.
I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. I think we need a bigger stage.
I think we do need a bigger stage. I might have put in a request for the 2018 auction already. So good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome. It's so nice to have so many wonderful friends here. You may recall last weekend was Unitreat, one of our regional youth events. We had 8 of our middle schoolers at Unitreat last weekend, and 3 of our fabulous teachers. And so a couple of our Uniteens have some words to share and some gifts to share.
So when we were at Unitree, we all made boxes and also birdhouses as well. So the birdhouses are for the community, and the boxes were for us, and we have like a bunch of loving gifts from everybody from the Unitree. So. Good job, Jackson. Good job. Thank God. When we went to Unitree, we made the birdhouses for we could let the birds family have a place to live. Brandon and Aiden painted them this week. So, yeah. And we are giving it to Dr. Richard as a gift.
Thank you.
And just so you know, Dr. Richard, those are built to Audubon Society standards for 3 specific types of birds. So that's why the fronts are not painted, because birds don't like paint.
We tried.
They are perfect. Perfect.
So, and my thought when I heard about the birdhouses, everybody knows that we recently purchased the 5 acres around us here. So I kind of think it's a cool idea that we can start nesting in our land.
Beautiful.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friends. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen. All that I am, all I've been given
birds don't like paint. Who knew? I didn't know that. I'm going to ask my birds at home, do you like paint? Welcome to Unity in Linwood. I'm happy to be here with you today. Wow, lots of beautiful people here today. Please know that wherever you come from, wherever you've traveled, this is a place that you can find safety and rest. Wherever your past history or your present situation, whatever joy or sadness you bring with you today, this is a place of welcome. We honor your choice to be with us, and we thank you for the opportunity to share our love and fellowship with you. And as the beautiful song that Matthew sang says, this feels like home, and you feel like family, and I'm glad that you're here. Speaking of family, that was a little better segue than the first service segue. Speaking of family and social media, we have this incredible Facebook presence out there. I don't know if you guys know this, but right now, people are watching us. Hi, Facebook! It does not match being here with our fellow people, but if you're ever in a place where you can't come to church that morning, because, we live up by Canada, and so there's sometimes that we don't get here, you can sit down at 11 o'clock and watch the Facebook live streaming of this service. And if you say, hi, I'm here, Facebook will say back to you, hi, Robin, or maybe not that, because that's not your name. But, and you can interact, or you can just be completely anonymous and just watch. Or if you miss it at 11 o'clock, you can watch it anytime during the week. So it's cool, because for a long time we've been able to listen to the service or the message, but now we can watch. And so if you didn't know that, now you know. Okay, yes. And today is the third Sunday of the month, and that means it's Givers Circle Sunday. So if you would like to consider standardizing your giving by joining our Givers Circle program, you can do that. It's a safe, easy, convenient, and flexible way to give to our community, and it provides helpful data to your Board of Trustees. If you find consistent value in our services, please consider responding with consistent giving. There is a Giver Circle pamphlet as you walk out the door that you can pick up and take a look at. There's also something you can fill out that you can give your gift every month automatically. For some of us, that's a really nice thing to do because otherwise we forget or we don't get it done. And if you do that and you still want to put something in the basket, you can either put your hand over as a blessing, or we have these little Giver Circle cards that you can just slip in there, or little stones that you can put in that say, I gave at the office, or I gave online, or whatever. So please take advantage of that if you're not already signed up. It's a great tool to use. So there's just so many beautiful people here. Here at Unity in Linwood, we practice the art of prayer, because through prayer, we connect with the Spirit within us, and we also stay joined to the vast spiritual energy that is all around us and connects us to each other. When speaking of prayer, Myrtle Fillmore said, "Prayer, then, is to change our minds and hearts so that God's omnipresent good may fill our minds and hearts and manifest in our lives." Don't we all want that? Yes, I agree. If you're in need of any prayer support, whether it be for direction, if you need some contemplation or some answers, or purely if you just want to share your joy, we have got you covered. There are prayer slips in the pockets in the seats in front of you. It says prayer request, pretty simple. You can fill this out and slip it in the offering basket later. That will get lots of confidential prayer attention here. There is also a 24-hour hotline or an email. That information is in your program or it's on our website. And if you are here today and feel like you need some time of prayer with a human being right here and now, you can get that. We have beautiful prayer chaplains that would be happy to welcome you back after service for some one-on-one prayer time. So if you do find that to be valuable to you, just come up to the front after service and one of our prayer chaplains will welcome you back for some private prayer. Please take advantage of this. We never want you to leave here feeling, I wish I had someone to connect with or pray with or talk to about this. So please do that if you want to. And for many of us at Unity, The practice of stating daily and continuous affirmations helps us to stay centered, focused, and connected to Spirit. Charles Fillmore said, "One truth statement understood and demonstrated in life is worth more than many lessons and statements about truth." So we can hear all we need to hear about truth, but if we state those statements, if we claim our truth through affirmations, that is a great way to connect and have it become reality. So each Sunday, we join together in collectively stating such truth with an affirmation. And it's up there. I'm going to read it. You want to take a moment, take it into your heart, listen, and then you'll have the opportunity, if you'd like to stand, you can say it with me. I plant a garden of compassion and kindness, whose seeds fly forth to reveal their sweet fruits in unexpected places and unknown hearts. Would you like to join me? Let's say it together. I plant a garden of compassion and kindness, whose seeds fly forth to reveal their sweet fruits in unexpected places and unknown hearts. Beautiful. Take a minute, say hi to the people who are around you.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
Oh. Oh, good morning, Unity in Linwood. And good morning, Unity in Linwood. Good morning, Unity in Linwood. Turn to the soul to your right and say, thank you for the gift of Unity in Linwood. And to the soul who sits to your left and say, thank you for the gift of Unity in Linwood. Oh, I have to tell you, I'm nervous this morning. Reverend Lisa Davis, Unity of Portland, one of our movement's leading voices, a dear mentor and friend, is in the house this morning. Woo! It's like I said to the 9 o'clock gathering, it reminds me of the summer I spent taking swimming lessons with Michael Phelps. It's a little intimidating. Licensed Unity teacher, director of prayer ministries, Barbara Thorpe, hosts a monthly discussion group. It's called Power to the People. If you would like to explore how the month's power of elimination is showing up in your life, please join her following this service in my office at the end of the hallway. What is it that you need to get out of the way that a greater wisdom might be realized in your world? What? Don't go all the way to the end of the hallway. That is correct. Thank you, Nancy Joy. Every service has an ambassador. This person's role is to support you and assist you in your exploration and discovery of this divine and evolving idea we call unity in Linwood. And oh, what a joy it is to welcome the 11 o'clock ambassador back home. Her name is Nan Allen. So if you have a question about what we believe, about what we teach, about what is available to you during your exploration, please engage her in conversation. Welcome home, Nan Allen. Practical spirituality welcoming community. It is our admittedly short but undeniably full statement of purpose as a community. Take a deep breath. Every week I like to support this with one of the 6 bullet points which we developed in conversation with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. This morning's statement reads as follows. We seek to discover and to share spiritual practices which are reliable and repeatable, and to infuse these spiritual practices into every arena of daily life. Amen. Fair enough? Let's begin with words of invocation. These are words which were used by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore. You're welcome to repeat them following me if you like. They read as follows. I am. I am now. You sound good. I am now in the presence of pure being. And immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. I acknowledge your presence and your power. O blessed Spirit. In your divine wisdom. Now erase my mortal limitations. And from your pure substance of love, bring into manifestation my world. According to your perfect law. I'd like to welcome you to this culminating week in our fall series. It's been drawn by the book written by the scholar and teacher Wayne Muller. It's entitled, How Then Shall We Live? 4 simple questions that reveal the beauty and meaning in our lives. A special thanks to our small group ministry coordinators, Cheryl Jones and Nancy Parle, and to the many facilitators who have supported you in your continuing discussions through the week. Will you join me in acknowledging them this morning, please? The first 3 of Mr. Muller's simple questions are, who am I? What do I love? And from last week, how shall I live knowing I will die? And if you would like to catch up on these conversations, you are welcome to visit Unity in Linwood on Facebook. And so it is that we arrive at this 4th and final week. We arrive at the question of the day, which is, what is my gift to the family of earth? So in addressing this final question, Mr. Muller recalls a conversation with a Kate. It was during the Los Angeles riots following the King verdict in 1992, and Mr. Muller asked this community organizer what could possibly be done in response to such suffering, what could possibly be done in response to such unthinkable violence in the world. And Kate answered by saying, I want to plant a garden in my yard. I want to plant a garden in my yard. I don't know how it will help, but I feel like I have to plant something and help it to grow, end quote. And yet when we imagine ourselves receiving such a question, when we imagine ourselves being asked what could possibly be done in response to today's iniquity, can't we all relate to something of a voice that responds by saying, well, I want to plant a garden, but maybe my gift isn't big enough? I think of our own Judy Hastings. Judy, perhaps you can relate to a voice that says, I want to give thousands and thousands of handmade angels to random strangers, all ethnicities, all genders, all religions, all ages, but maybe my gift isn't big enough. Yeah, I agree. I think of Lynn Burton Hardin. Perhaps you can relate to a voice that says, I want to be the walking, talking embodiment of unconditional love and genuine kindness to every soul who steps foot on that shuttle week after week after week. But maybe that gift isn't big enough. And when we imagine ourselves receiving such a question, when we imagine ourselves being asked what could possibly be done in response to today's cruelty, don't we relate to that voice that would rise up and say, well, I want to plant a garden, but maybe my gift isn't quite ready. Perhaps it's not timely enough. And I think of Sharon and Harley. Think of Sharon and Harley. Perhaps they can relate to a voice that says, we want to be the steadfast voices for the whales and for the whale families in Puget Sound, that they might realize well-deserved lives of freedom and dignity as expressions of the one life that stands behind all life, as expressions of God itself. But maybe our gift isn't quite ready. After all, we're not lawyers. We're not politicians. I think of Laura Spar. I think of the hospitality team that serves you with such diligence. And I think perhaps they can relate to a voice that says, we want to be vehicles for the meaningful connection among human beings, that the countless walls erected by fearful imaginations and perpetuated by small minds might begin to soften, if only softly. Maybe our gift isn't ready. After all, we're not chefs. And when we imagine ourselves receiving such a question, when we imagine ourselves being asked what could possibly be done in response to today's selfishness, don't we respond to something of a voice within us that would say, I want to plant a garden, but maybe my gift isn't timely enough? And I think of our local humanitarian outreach ministry. I think of Kitty and Donna, Daniel, Diane, Suzanne. I think of Welaine and every other soul who serves. Perhaps each of these souls can relate to a voice that says, let's get a bear for every chair of Unity in Linwood. Let's have these in place by the end of December 2017, that area youth might know something of a comfort, that area youth might know something of a caring during any difficult moment of Christmas 2017. I think of Cheryl, I think of Ken, I think of our many mental health and social services experts. And I wonder if they can relate to a voice that says, I want to be an advocate for daughters and sons. I want to be an advocate for sisters and brothers, for mothers and fathers who struggle to function within the rigid norms dictated by society. But maybe my gift isn't timely. And I suppose it can be said that the unplanted seed really isn't big enough. It's not ready enough. It's not timely enough. But when you offer that seed to the fertile soils of planet Earth, it does what seeds do. It begins to call upon the rich resources which surround it. And as it begins to call upon the rich resources which surround it, it gives rise to its fullest potential, a potential which we cannot predict. And the same thing can be said of our gifts. Our gifts, ungiven, aren't big enough. They're not ready enough. They're not timely enough. But when you follow the examples of Judy and Lynn and Sharon and Harley and Laura and the countless other ministers who surround you this morning, when you offer your gifts to the fertile soils of human potential, it does what human gifts do. It begins to call upon the rich resources which surround it. And when it begins to call upon the rich resources which surround it, at that point, it begins to give rise to its fullest potential, a potential which we cannot predict. So you see, in his eightfold path, the Buddha taught this idea of right action, but at no point did he say you will always get the right result. The result that you predict will come from your right action. Ours is simply to plant the garden that is ours to plant. Ours is to plant the garden that is ours to plant. In the words of this morning's affirmation, to let the seeds fly forth to reveal their sweet fruits in unexpected places, in unknown hearts. You see, Kate's garden to this day remains a symbol of hope, a symbol of possibility in her otherwise impoverished neighborhood. I like to think that Jesus understood this idea when he said, you are the light of the world, and your job is to let that light shine. He didn't say your job is to let it shine if you think it's big enough. He didn't say your job is to let it shine if you think it's ready enough. He didn't say your job is to let it shine if you think it's timely enough. Now, I do get it. It can be pretty overwhelming to consider the question, what is my gift to the family of the earth? But what if you start by asking, what gift might I offer to the soul who sits to my right this morning? Or what if we start by asking, what is the gift I might share with the soul who sits to my left this morning? It was Vanier who wrote, love doesn't mean doing extraordinary things. It means doing ordinary things with great tenderness. So let's embrace, in the words of the author, that if we have apples, then apples are our gift. If we have humor, then laughter is our gift. If we can cook, then food is our gift. If we can make music, hold a hand, listen, build something. If we can love well, build birdhouses, then these are our gifts. We need people to sit with those who are dying. We need people to plant a garden, to cook a meal, to share it, to hold a hand, to create a moment of sanctuary. We need people to sing a song, to speak a word of kindness into a moment of fear, to perform a single act of courage, to hum a tune, to dance, so we can remember how light, how loving, how alive we are together on the earth. He concludes by saying every gift is a drop of water on the stone. Each of us knows some part of the secret. Each of us holds some portion of the light. We can thrive on earth if we bring what we have to the table of humanity.
We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are. We are the ones. We are. excuse till I realized it's not all up to me. When we join together, we shape our destiny to see a world where we are living as one. It can be, it shall be, it will be done. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are. No one else is gonna make the changes. No savior gonna drop from the sky. Nothing left to do but wake up, 'cause it's really up to you and I to take it one step at a time. Stand together with your hand in mine. Then we will see a world that we've been dreaming about. We need it now, the time is now, there is no doubt. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who will make a difference. We are the ones who will change the world. We are the ones. We are. We are the ones. We are. And I am the one that I've been waiting for. I am the one who will make that difference. I am the one who will change the world. I am the one. I am the one. I am. You are the one. You are. You are the one. You are. We are the ones. We are. We are the ones. We are. We are the ones. We are. We are the ones.
And when I think about individuals who embody this idea, who demonstrate it, who become the very hands and feet of it in our world, there are a few people who come to mind, but one stands near the top of the list. You're in for a treat this morning. She's a dear friend of mine. She's a dear friend of yours. She is a leading voice. Would you welcome her this morning? Her name is Reverend Lisa Davis. What a gift.
Thank you so much. I felt so blessed to be here. When Richard was saying, I'm nervous to speak in front of Lisa, I thought, me? And then I thought, why? And I realized so many of the ministers who have done this work for many, many years have retired, such as Ann Thomas. And actually, you all have David MacArthur coming. He is amazing. The people who were my mentors, and I thought, oh no, does that mean I've become a mentor? Does that mean I'm one of them? But also, I also realized I've actually never spoken I don't do guest speaking in Unity churches. So this is a first for me after a few decades of ministry, speaking in another community. So it's an honor to be here, and I have gotten to watch Richard as he has made his journey into ministry and has stepped into that. And I'm here for two different reasons. One you'll hear about in a few minutes. And I just want to share a little bit this question that was raised this morning of what is my gift to humanity? What is my gift that I bring? I believe the universe is asking all of us right now, what is your gift? And I believe we're being called to step forward, and I believe we're being asked to do it in a way that may be unfamiliar to us. And we're being asked to have the courage to say, I have enough to give. Anybody in here have anything in their lives that says otherwise? have had a message. By the way, you have a fabulous youth and family ministry. One of the things that youth and family ministry does is tell every youth every single Sunday, you are the light of the world. You have the light within you. You have that infinite presence and power of spirit, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference now, and it makes a difference decades from now. I actually am a third-generation Unity student. I grew up in Unity. I didn't know that everybody wasn't raised with affirmations on every possible mirror and picture in the house that said, there is one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. I thought that was normal. Or if you say, I am, and add the word tired, oh, that was a national offense. You could get in a lot of trouble because you don't add that. Instead, I'm alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic, and I have the power of spirit within me. What's fascinating is all of this input. I mean, how different would our lives be? Would anybody in here have a different journey if they had been told you are whole, infinite, and complete their whole lives? That's where we're moving, and that's what the universe is asking us to do, because we're being asked to evolve individually, collectively, and globally at the same time. And that's something I haven't seen in my journey in a long time. For myself, that question is asked all the time. Part of what Wayne Muller said, he said, throughout my work with people who have been hurt, the most painful thing I witness is their deep conviction that because of their hurt, they have no real gift, nothing of value to offer the family of the earth. And I don't know if any of you are here with that issue. Do I really have something to give? But the universal question that this quantum field is asking us is, do I believe I have enough to give? Right where I am, with whatever's happening in my world. And sometimes it's been easy to say, I can't because this happened to me, or this happened to me, or this happened to me. And that's where these principles and these ideas shift us, because when we say yes, I believe I have enough to give, right where I am, the universe responds accordingly. And it always will. For my journey, the one to ministry was an interesting one. I actually gave my first talk at 15. I was a YOUer, and it was a YOU service. The church had 700 people in it in South Florida, and I got there, and the other two girls didn't show up. And so I gave my first service, and I remember saying, I want to do that the rest of my life. And somehow I managed to talk long enough to, which to my 16-year-old is no surprise at all, but I managed to talk long enough to make it through the service, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Interestingly enough, when I got married, the only thing I promised my husband was I would never become a Unity minister. And so, life says, oh yeah, and it will continue to do that. I actually got very ill in my early 20s, and they said, you may not live. And at that point, I had to decide, did I believe in these truths enough, with no guarantee of whether I lived or not, but did I believe in them enough to live them? Because this is practical spirituality. Are we willing to live it? And a few years later, when I finally said, my dream has always been to become a minister, and I'm going to do it even if I have to have a nurse on either side holding me up, which is why I wrote out my talks for so many years, because I thought if I pass out, somebody can read it. But it was 2 days after that they found a solution for what was going on in my brain that would make me unconscious for up to 2 weeks at a time in a month. And it was fascinating because I said yes to something that I didn't really believe I was qualified to do. I didn't know that I had the gifts to do it. And ministerial school was an empowering experience for me, and I began saying, how do I share my gifts if I have these? I adopted 2 young girls from Russia, one of whom was so severely starving she was considered the smallest child that ever came out of Russia. She was 7 pounds at 7.5 months old, and they said, won't you please turn her back in? They said, we really don't think she should leave the country. She's probably going to die. And I said, well, this isn't a used car, was honestly what went through my mind. This is a being. And I get the opportunity to love. So much of my ministerial career has been with 2 beautiful daughters. They're 16 and 18 now. The 18-year-old, she's developmentally disabled. She has been through a journey that you just won't believe, but the courage for a being to stand up to be all they can be continues to drive me. She actually deals with anger to the point that I'm called all kinds of things. Do you know what the best teacher in the world is? Is somebody who doesn't believe you're whole, infinite, and complete. And you get to decide every single Sunday morning before I get up and go, I get to decide, do I believe that I am enough? Do I believe that the universe will support me? And that is the universal question that is being asked of every one of us. You have something in your life right now that's saying, do you believe you're enough for this? They're always different. But when we find that answer, life changes. My 16-year-old who didn't have her hearing when she came and had all these different health problems, didn't actually have 100% of her hearing till 4th grade because I was too stubborn to give up and to believe the diagnosis that was there, and now has 100% of her hearing. I have gotten to move with her as I invited her to play basketball. Now, this is a child who had no eye-hand coordination, who couldn't actually see the ball when she started, and that was in 6th grade. She just moved into 9th grade this year, but in 8th grade, she was a starter on her basketball team. For me, that was a new experience. But convincing a being that they can do something, that to start every time we'd try to hit the ball and she'd try to hit another one, it was amazing how many times it took. It isn't about just one time and saying, well, that didn't work. Instead, the universe says, believe, and allow it to become a cellular belief. When we do, the gift that we have will move us forward. One of the ways that I got to move through, and I don't usually share my story like this, the community in Portland, they know it, so it's not shared, but one of the things I also got to go through was that 12 years ago, my husband chose death by suicide. And so after a 25-year marriage, I got to decide again, do I believe there is enough in this universe that it will source me with all that I need? And the first thing I use, we talk about these affirmations, I just started saying what I learned as a little girl, the prayer of faith. God is my help in every need. God does my every hunger feed. God dwells within me, guides my way through every moment, night and day. And that became, again, a driving force for me. I eventually left ministry, moved to Portland, decided that I needed to take a break. It was a year later, and said, I'm done with ministry. I need to just simply help my daughters grow and heal. I bought a house I'd never seen, moved to a city I'd never been to. And my last message in Ohio was simply, there is a path I cannot see. And I live by that. There is a path for every one of us right now that is good. It is God. It is infinite. And we cannot see it, but if we have the courage to believe it exists and that the universe will support us, life will move us forward. And when it does, we will find that we are stronger than we have ever been. I didn't do ministry. That was, again, the only thing I said I wasn't going to do was ministry anymore. But I went to a Unity church because that's the first place I go when I got there. And I went to the one that actually had the best youth and family ministry. And that was what in the Portland area, and began attending. And a year after that, the minister said, okay, I'm retiring. And I said, no, you're not. You are not doing this. I have not healed. I can't do this. And no one applied. And so they actually, it was simply, it was kind of a thing of, okay, are you going to do this or not? And my mother and I took the ministry for several years, and now I do the ministry there. But I was fascinated. I told the board, I said, well, you better be prepared because I'm going to cry. And I'm still healing, and I don't know how long that healing takes. And what I found was when we have the courage to show up just as we are, with all of our imperfections, all of the things that work and don't work, life will source us. One of the greatest gifts that I've been able to give actually doesn't even happen in this country. I was approached by a woman in Dayton, Ohio, and asked for a metaphysical Bible dictionary. And she was black and didn't speak English real well, and I thought, okay, I wonder who wants a metaphysical Bible dictionary. Well, I found out that there was a Unity church in Umuahia, Nigeria. And we got that Bible dictionary, metaphysical Bible dictionary for them. And I later found out that there were 63 Unity churches in Nigeria. And most people don't even realize it. They've been there from the 20s. And when I was asking Spirit, how do I help Given everything that's in my world, how do I touch the world in a larger way? We began supplying books for Unity churches in Nigeria, and somehow that little seed grew into an international outreach ministry that this year Building Bridges is sending 34 middle school Unity girls to school who wouldn't be going to school. It costs about $250 to send a girl to school for a year. And when we realized that if they stay in school at that age, their quality of life will shift completely. We also just printed a couple thousand copies of Lessons in Truth. And so for the first time, the Unity ministers have more books and have more things. And it's been a fascinating journey. When I went to Nigeria and got to speak to 1,000 people from Unity churches in Nigeria, what I found was it was one of the only places in that country where every being accepted every other being, regardless of what tribe they were from, because they had the message that every one of us has the divine within us and that we are all valuable and worthy. And you know, this is an issue that in this country we're being asked to evolve right now. We're being asked to allow it to rise, and everything unlike it is showing up in our lives and in this world. And you are so fortunate here because you have an example of someone who has had the courage to step forward into ministry. And part of why I'm here, when Richard was being ordained, he asked me to ordain him. And that was just such a great honor. I at first said, why? You know, why is he doing that? And then I thought, wait a minute, say thank you, God. And actually, the only 2 times this year that I've been away from my kids and anywhere like this has been here. So these have been vacations for me. So for me, it's been a wonderful experience. But Richard showed the courage to step into something larger. And I know there was a time when you didn't even see it, but you felt it, and you knew there was a call. And when I came and did the ordination, one of the things that wasn't here when I got here was his ministerial stole. And so Unity Worldwide Ministries provides these, and they're put on. I don't use mine very often, but today I wore it because I'm here in an official capacity also, and that is to do this again, Richard, to honor you. And so if you'll come up front, do you know, you all have gotten to feel the energy that happens when we are willing to give our gifts, and you, Dr. Richard Loren Held, have done that. And so I just want you to know that this stole has with it the prayers of Unity Worldwide Ministry, Unity of Portland, and this whole Unity movement as we know the truth of who you are, the light that you are, the love that you are, the presence that you allow to move through you. And so with that, with the authority of Unity Worldwide Ministries and in the name of the Holy Spirit, that whole Spirit of God that enfolds us all, I ordain you a Unity minister. And the other thing that I wanted to present with you is simply a Bible. Dr. Richard Loren Held is engraved on here, and it is simply knowing the light that you are. Okay. And to each of you, for all of us on this planet right now, we are being called to allow that gift to move through us. You have everything that you need in this moment to do all that is yours to do this day and every day. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Reverend Lisa. Dr. Richard, I do have to say, after first service, Scott and I were talking a little bit, and this message is so incredible because you are so privileged to be raised in unity. So many of us were raised in traditions that said we aren't enough, that we're sinners and that we aren't enough. And that's why we're here. So thank you for reminding us of that today. So now is the time we come together and we share our tithes and our love offerings. As you prepare them, I'll offer these words from Dr. Emily Cady. There must be an equal conscious receiving from the Father and giving out to the world, a perfect equilibrium between the inflowing and the outgiving to keep perfect harmony. Thank you for helping us create that harmony.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Thank you, God, that your living spirit of truth, expressing through us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Thank you, ushers. All right, before we get into announcements, I just want to mention that if you're here for the first time, or if you're newish, and you'd like to learn more about Unity or Unity in Linwood, we've provided a newcomer's information card in the chair back in front of you that gives some information. There's also a stay in touch card. I did that both services. Stay in touch card that you can fill out if you'd like to get on our email list. If you're not already, you get about 2 emails a month. So this information is just held right here. If you'd like to fill those out, we would love to get you on our list. As we mentioned, all of us at Unity in Linwood consider ourselves to be a community of intentional welcome. And with that, we want to recognize those of you who are joining us for the first time so that we can connect with you, say hello, welcome you. So, if you're with us for the first time and you would like us to know that you are here, please raise your hand and we'll give you a quick round of applause. Anyone today? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're glad you're here with us. Please feel free to join us afterwards in the friendship room for some food and conversation. So for details and registration specific to all events, please visit the Welcome and Information Station, which is back in the corner. Also, you can grab, when you're there, an Interfaith at Unity in Linwood postcard for details about this month's Spiritual Saturdays with the Rabbi Ted Falcon on November 25th and Mother Kathy Chalmers' Liturgical Mass on Saturday, December 2nd. She's there on drums today singing beautiful harmonies. Thank you. Yeah. All of our musicians. We're so privileged here. Mr. and Mrs. Fillmore taught praise and gratitude as powerful spiritual disciplines. Let's press their idea to its highest potentials in a music-rich celebratory service of intentional gratitude. Please join Dr. Richard Matthew and the Unity in Linwood Choir for a Thanksgiving Eve service this Wednesday. at 7 o'clock. Also, my notes say, please grab a local humanitarian outreach ministry postcard, but we can't find any, so we think they were all taken up already. So Matthew will get more. Oh, there's a new oh, you are the best. They're in so many ways. Thank you, Matthew. They're there. You can grab one now. You can get details for our service projects, including a bear in every chair, which I brought one today, but that's not really till December, so that's okay. We got the big bear over there, which is a great, great endeavor, and warm winter woolies. So the postcard will give you more information. Please register if you want to assist with the South Snohomish Toy Shop on Saturday, December 10th, not the 9th, at 10 o'clock to 3:30, preparing toys for over 600 needy youth at Trinity Lutheran Church. I love this. I'm so glad we're doing this. So if you have any questions, Kitty Okamoto can answer them, there you are, for you. She'll be back there. Please deck the halls with us on Saturday, December 2nd at 10 a.m. during our Christmas decorating party. Please register in the back. Heidi Quincy is the project chair. And finally, what an honor to have Reverend David MacArthur of the Heart Math Institute is offering 2 workshops. The first is for all, the Heart Math Solution, Accessing Your Heart's Wisdom, and that is this coming Saturday on November 26th at 1 p.m. See, I'm just testing you. Make sure you're paying attention. Good job. Good job. It's Sunday, November 26th at 1 p.m. The second workshop is full, so you can't be that. All good things, lots of them, are happening here at Unity in Linwood. You can find the information on our printed program or by visiting our Facebook page or the calendar page of our website at unityinlinwood.org.
If you'd like to join our Christmas choir, rehearsals begin December 3rd after the second service. It'll be a lot of fun. And next week we'll be joined by Garnet Hundley, vocalist. I'm sure some of you know her. And then Jennifer Bundy on piano. They're fantastic. If you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song.
Do we have the best friends or what? Would you thank Reverend Lisa Davis one more time? You know, that conversation about he asked me to ordain him, I wonder why. It's crystal clear, really, don't you think? It's crystal clear. Let's take a deep breath. If there is a first name of any soul whom you would like to invite into this causative consciousness of love and support, please do so at this time in our service. So that all names issued, whether with the human tongue or the human heart, it matters not. On behalf of all who have turned something of a spiritual ear to this conversation, to all in Facebook land, it's with great faith and with great boldness that we lift our voices on your behalf and speak together these closing words. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
The light of God surrounds us. The power of God protects. The presence of God God watches over us, and all is well. The love of God enfolds us. Wherever we are, God is. We are safe, we are cherished, and all is well. All is well.
We close our time together as we always do by speaking our words, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.